What is so hard about not abusing animals?
Carnies can't fuck themselves.
What's so hard about it?
Fuck themselves.
This is a show of all vegans.
Let me see your shoulders work.
This is a show of all vegans. This is a show of all.
Air drums! Air drums! I see you doing it, Danny! You beautiful vegans, you beautiful vegans. You know, you beautiful vegans, I'm so happy you're here because you're the only ones left doing any kind of critical thinking. So I appreciate you. We're going to bring on Grumpy Vegan Granddad. It's been a while since we've had him on, and he's got some grumpy news. With the planet melting, they just recorded the highest temperature ever in the ocean off of the tip of the bell end of Florida. But we're going to talk about something that's even more serious than the planet melting, because you know what? That's what's going on in our world right now. Let's see what's going on with Grumpy Vegan Granddaddy. I think he's going to take us to the highway, on the highway to the danger zone. Are you in the highway to the danger zone? You look kind of like Maverick, Dan.
Is that where you live? The bell end of are you the bell end of America?
There are people who consider me the bell end. I already see people in the comments talking trash, but I don't think that I live in I live in California, which is I think the last civilized place in America. But who am I? I'm biased. You know what I mean?
So yeah, it's been a while, kid. It's been a while. Is my microphone okay? Yeah,
sounds brilliant. Good? Yes,
good. Yes. Thank you to everybody for jumping on. It's great to have everybody here. 40-year-old vegan is literally a 40-minute drive that way from me.
Really?
Right at this moment. Yeah,
well, that's exciting.
He's in North Yorkshire, so we're going to meet up in Manchester after vegan camp out.
I like that.
Going to, yes. We can't wait to meet him in the flesh.
That is exciting to me. Are you going? You're going to vegan camp out then?
No,
you're not going. You're boycotting.
I'm not boycotting it. I think it's a great thing. I think vegan camp's out amazing.
I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, open that can of beans, because I know a lot of people on that side of the pond are always talking about whether or not it's a proper thing. I've seen debates about it, even whether or not you should go to vegan camp out as a vegan. But we're going to talk about other vegan stuff today.
Yeah. I mean, who'd want to go and be fucking normal for a couple of days?
Who'd want
to go and sit around like-minded people, thousands of like-minded people, and not worry about the food, and not worry about the entertainment, and not worry about anything else, just for 2 or 3 days a year, when the rest of the year you're getting barraged with trolls, with people slagging you off, with people ridiculing you. I mean, who'd want 3 days of peace?
3 days of peace to blow up. Well, there are some vegans in the world that think that vegans shouldn't be allowed to have fun or go to cinema or do any of those things. So, it's just a different mindset, I suppose.
Anyway, for the last 3 months I've been on my meds.
Yes, I've seen your content about it. Have you been enjoying them?
I'll tell you something, the really strange thing happened. I decided to come off them on Thursday last week, and I had 4 days off them. And
what prompted that decision, I wonder?
I just want, because you doubt yourself constantly. So I just thought, I never ever hear this sentence said in neurotypical world, right? I couldn't get to sleep, and it's the reason I couldn't get to sleep properly was because I haven't had my amphetamines. How does that? In any neurotypical world, that sentence would never ever happen.
No,
crazy. It just makes me realize how crazy the condition is. But anyway, we're not here to talk about me. But yeah, I've had a really, really good 3 months, and I'm enjoying.
Well, this show is about you. I mean, we're broadcasting to 2 channels, and this show is about you. This is Hump Day, Grump Day, baby.
Yeah, well, it's been more prompted by somebody that I've been watching, and now here's a little proviso, right, people? We're not here to to slag anybody's activism off, right? Every bit of activism is valid and crucial, right? But if the message is wrong, we need to worry. And this is why we're doing this today, because I feel the message is worrying.
Well,
And
I think
I've
that's
tried.
true. You say I support all activism for veganism for sure. I support all vegan activism. The problem that I have is that sometimes non-vegans end up in this weird thing that we're doing. And I mean, like, I went to a protest last weekend, and then after it, as we're walking by, there's people doing activism to kind of anti-trans activism, anti-gay activism. I don't support that activism. I support vegan activism, and I think this is where we're getting into a kind of a disagreement with the gentleman that you put in the thumbnail on your site.
Well, it is. I mean, it's no secret. It's reasonable vegan.
Yes,
William Lucas says, "I want to be around people that think reasonable vegan is beautiful as fuck." Not going to lie.
it's beautiful AF.
Yeah.
I want to be around people that think reasonable vegan is beautiful. Well, I'm sure he's beautiful. I'm not really commenting on his looks. I mean, bald is beautiful, right? Don't you think, Dan?
You know what I mean?
Bald is beautiful.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just, I support all liberation, vegan activism, no bending to the oppressor. Well, listen, let's get into it. Let's get into it. Let's have a look.
Where would you like to begin? Would you like to begin with a couple of examples?
Well, let me throw this up first.
Okay.
Right. Let me share this first, because this is what sort of triggered more. Now, I just want to put something straight. Right. I've been watching this guy. I've watched his lives. I've watched his content, and I've been waiting to make up my mind. I haven't just gone, don't like him. It's git. I've listened and watched. So. And then I put this up because it was like something that he'd done, and I did a reaction to it.
Let's see it.
Oh, there we go.
Monday a good thing? Yes, it is.
To that other question about the meatless, one of the reasons why the egg industry in demand is going up is because a lot of the families, like one day a week, are having meatless dinners and are substituting eggs for that meatless meal. So that's another good reason why the egg consumption is going up in this country.
All right, so Meatless Monday a good thing?
Oh,
yes.
All right, so that's the first refutation. What do you think, Dan? How do you feel about Meatless Monday?
Meatless Monday is right. Okay, so here's the thing. Yeah.
Okay.
If somebody says to me, right, okay, I get it. I get the oppression. I get what it's all about. I understand veganism. It's not a diet. It's not an environmental standpoint. However, I can't go vegan overnight. I'm going to start with Meatless Mondays. I'm going to work my way. Yes, there's nothing I can do about that. That's fine. If you're going to do it that way, you do it that way. But Meatless Monday as an answer, as something to push as vegans, it's a big no-no. Why?
Well, I guess like what you just described is kind of like goal oriented, right? Like if the goal, I used to be a defender of Meatless Mondays because I believed it was a great way to get people talking about the impact of a plant-based diet. And I feel like maybe I was wrong. I've had to reassess that, because what ends up happening with Meatless Monday, people just go, well, I'm just meatless on Monday and that's it. That was my part that I did, and that should not be the goal. If that's the goal, then I'm out. I'm not interested. The goal, saying, like you said, well, I'm going to start on Mondays and then I'm doing Monday, Tuesday, then I'm doing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Like, how can you really argue with that? If the goal is veganism and abolition, fine. But if the goal is just to every Monday not eat flesh, but carry on with eggs and dairy and all the rest, and also the other 6 days of the week, then it's completely meaningless. And I think just,
I mean, we could look at Veganuary, Veganuary, you could say about it, but Veganuary is a little bit different because Veganuary, from what I can see, they do push animal ethics. and it's a length of time for someone to look at the lifestyle and maybe go down that road. But
Veganuary also is about turning people vegan, right? Like their thing is always people who went vegan in Veganuary, how many of them turned vegan full, right? Like went and understood animal rights. But I don't know how effective it is. And that tactics are something we can debate. But if the goal is something that I'm not willing to debate, the goal is total abolition and liberation. That's the goal, right? It's not.
That's the mantra. That's where we're heading. That's what we should be advocating for.
Right.
It's like. I mean, we wouldn't have beatless Tuesdays for our wives, would we?
No, beatless Tuesdays, or I like slaveless Tuesdays. I don't want to have slaveless Tuesdays. I want the abolition of slavery.
Here's the thing, right? Have you heard of the saying "rule of thumb"?
Oh yeah, that you could beat your. Yeah, go ahead, tell me.
That's the thickness of stick. That's the maximum thickness of stick that you can beat your wife with. The rule of thumb. If it's any thicker than that, you can get in trouble. Would we be advocating? Carson, reasonable vegan, will be saying that's great. So they only use like a thin stick to beat their wives. That's better than having a thick stick.
It's better than using a cricket bat.
No, mate. We want to stop beating our wives with sticks. We want to stop it. We don't want a beatless Monday where we don't beat our wives. We don't want, So yeah, it doesn't sit right with me.
No, I guess it's the question. The claims makers and the activists have to be demanding what we truly want. I can't be asking you to beat your wife less. I have to be asking you to beat your wife not at all. And if you beat your wife less, hey, good job. Now we're talking about progress. I still want you to beat your wife not at all. I want it 0. I want to get down to 0. But what if I only beat her on Tuesdays? Not acceptable. We need to get down to 0. Like, what if I only did heroin every Monday? I mean, these are the
joking.
What if I only ride horses when I'm starring in a movie about Napoleon? Is that okay? What if I only enslave and beat horses when I star in movies about Napoleon? Is that okay? No, it's not okay. It never is. The goal has to be gone. I always say it's never okay to be reasonable about any injustice ever, period. Hannah Moon, in the words of, Hannah Moon, you're exactly right. Tom Reagan said, I'm an extremist about that. I'm always against rape. I'm an extremist about it. Exactly. All right. So I think we're on a roll. Let's see what we got. If I'm a vegan or a reducitarian, I think this is the one about you, right?
This is the reply. Let's have a quick look at this.
All right, here we go. It's long though, mate.
All right, so so this guy, Grumpy Vegan Granddad, did a video taking a video of mine where I talk about Meatless Mondays, and he did a reaction to it. So I was calling Meatless Mondays good because if you're not eating meat, that's good. Obviously,
if you're not eating meat, that's good, is what he says, right?
Yeah, nothing is set. Like if you normally eat 1 steak a day and you stop eating steak on Mondays, but then you start eating 2 steaks a day on all the other days, then that is worse than before you did the Meatless Monday thing. But on average, I mean, we don't even have to say on average. The point is that if doing Meatless Mondays makes less animal products consumed, then that is good.
This all reminds me of kind of like Peter Singer, any effective altruist or utilitarian who are just like, oh, well, anything that goes to the most good, that is not a justice movement. We're trying to bend the moral arc towards justice, not to be we're
not trying to make violence better, or less painful, or less harmful.
It's not an amelioration movement. It's a liberation movement. I just made that up.
So there always is the possibility that there could be an effect. Part of his point here was that people will replace their meat with eggs, and so like the same amount or maybe even more animal products are eaten. I highly doubt this. So if people usually eat about 3 meals a day, a lot of people eat a lot more than that. But yeah, so if you have a breakfast that has like sausage and eggs or whatever, and then you have a lunch that it has like a sandwich with like sliced turkey deli meat or whatever, and then for dinner you have like beef tacos or a burger, I don't know, whatever. You're having meat in all these different meals. And so if somebody decides they want to do Meatless Mondays, then they're not going to just have extra eggs for breakfast, and then for lunch they're going to have eggs, and then for dinner they're going to have an egg burger. They're not going to replace every bit of meat with eggs. They're not going to replace every bit of meat with eggs and extra cheese.
Well, they're not replacing it with tomatoes, are they? I mean, what is he talking about here? Like,
he's trying. You see, I've put an example, right, of someone's reaction to Meatless Mondays, and they've used evidence for that claim, right? Now, I'm not saying that everybody replaces eggs. I'm not saying that.
Yeah,
he seems to take everything literally. He doesn't seem he seems to take everything absolutely literally. So what Danny's saying here is full stop. Everything is replaced with eggs. No, I'm not saying that.
No,
saying
all
no,
people who do Meatless Monday replace everything,
with
every meal
eggs,
with
yeah.
eggs. Yeah. The problem with Meatless Monday is not whether or not it's being replaced. They're replacing their food with egg. Is that it's not a rights. It's not a rights-based issue at all. Like saying it's okay to just not eat meat on Mondays, and that's the part that you've done. It's kind of like, I don't. Do you remember when? Well, I don't want to talk about the vaccination, but I remember when they told me if I got a shot that everything would be okay and we'd go back to normal. So I got in line and I got the shot. That's what I did, and that was my part, right? They told me to wear a mask, so I wore a mask. I did my part, and that was all I did. Well, the animals need more. Justice needs more than just you doing your tiny little part, like not eating animals on Monday, because we're talking about the rights of animals and their status. So I completely, yeah. It's so ridiculous. Do we want to watch the rest of this?
No.
No? Okay. Yeah, it's a little lame. Meatless Monday sucks. I think we're off Meatless Monday.
Little lame.
All right, so I got a question here.
This is no vegans allowed, and I wanted to just fast forward to 420 because that's the type of, because it's legal in California. Here we go, 420.
I'm willing to do something to get arrested. But here's the thing. If we want anything to function, we would have to want the laws to be fulfilled. So if you want to cause a disturbance because of something that you think is a horrible law, you should also want the law to do its job. So if you do something to, I guess what I'm saying is somebody could do something that I think is a good action, like breaking a law to prove a point. But if they were caught, I would want them to get in the amount of trouble you'd get in for that law broken. And that's because I want the laws to work. And so that's why I think it's best to, vote in your representatives you want and have conversations with many people and try to get the majority to change their mind on what some laws are.
Well, isn't that a reasonable idea, right? All we have to do is follow the laws, obey the rule of law, and make sure that everyone else does. Criticize anyone who doesn't follow the law. Expect that every law is applied equally, which I think is ridiculous. I mean, this to me flies in the face of almost every form of activism. What is he? I don't get it. Like,
right. So, okay. So let's use his logic here, right? I lose my job. I've got no money. My kids are starving. I go into a supermarket. I steal a loaf of bread. I get caught. Are you telling me that they should give me exactly the same sentence
as
someone who went in to steal for profit, to steal for the proceeds of crime? What an absolute load of bullshit.
Yes, exactly.
An absolute load of bullshit.
If you steal prescription drugs so that your baby can survive, it's punishable by law, and it should be carried out to the fullest extent of that law, because there are no mitigating circumstances whatsoever, because laws are morality. Legality is not morality. And this is I think,
and circumstances that Western law requires circumstances, evidence. You have the chance to give your reasons why you did what you did,
absolutely. I mean, the spirit of the law, if the spirit of the law is observed, that is something that's what was it, Roman versus Germanic law? Is that how it is? Someone can correct me. I think it's Romanic versus Germanic law. Is that like in Germanic law, it's like, oh, you ran the red light, you're going to jail, no matter why you ran the red light. But in Roman law, it'd be like, well, the spirit of a light, you ran the red light you stopped, you looked both ways, and you ran it at 3:00 in the morning because no one was coming. The spirit of the law was observed, and so you shouldn't.
I see some shorts by this New York judge, and he's quite regular on. I don't know whether it's Instagram shorts or whether it's on TikTok shorts. And there was this guy in front of him who sped, and he said, "Why were you speeding?" And he said, "Well, I had to get to my son because he's dying of cancer. I've got to do, And this judge says, walk out, walk out. But he still broke the law.
Yeah.
If it was up to Carson, they'd have him in a pit and have him stoned, man. You know what I mean?
Well, there'd be no live rescue. There'd be no rescue attempts, because then obviously, like the efforts of Wayne Shung are completely.
A big one, a flat one, and a packet of gravel, please. Stone him. All I said was that piece of halibut was good enough for Jehovah. Fuck's sake.
Yeah. I don't like this at all. This idea that activists should just have the book thrown at them no matter what's going on. If we have unjust laws, it is our duty to not follow them. I mean, this is MLK.
40-year-old vegan will love this. You know what I mean? He'll love this. He'll love Carson for this. I tell you.
Yeah, right. I mean, I just
And so anyways, I guess it's kind of complicated because I don't know what the laws are in Australia and with that whole restaurant situation.
okay. So of course they're talking about Tash Peterson. A lot of people have weighed in on this. You and I have actually not spoken since Tash did her fire protest, which I'm a huge proponent of. I think she did a great job. I hope that more people do stuff like that. What was your take? Do you think that she should be punished and be
I haven't seen it, and I've no idea because I've been wrapped up in my own little world for the last couple of months. So yeah, just explain to me what happened.
Well, I guess I could show you, but at the end of the day, Tash Peterson, you know about Mr. Johnny Mountain. He's a chef who banned all
Oh
vegans
yes,
from this restaurant.
right, fire. Yes, I did see it. Sorry, yes,
The restaurant
I did see
in
it.
Perth. Yeah.
Yeah, right. I know. I thought you meant she'd set something on fire. You know.
No,
Right.
no,
Okay.
she walked
I've got
in,
you.
played the sounds of pigs. He assaulted her. It was a screaming protest, but it was a peaceful one. And this is what Reasonable Vegan is saying. He's slagging off other activists, and this is something that always bothers me.
So she created a bit of discomfort for somebody who discriminated against a group of people. If it had been a group of Muslims who he banned because they complained that there weren't any non-pork dishes, he would Carson be advocating for him to go to jail for 50 years? You know what I mean? It's like
that, and also this guy is a person who uses dead animals, dead tiny piglet carcasses as props to pretend like they're baby children, and he's playing with them. I mean, this is real serial killer vibes out of this guy. Anyone who defends him versus Tash Peterson, it blows my mind. It's like it's like that thing where they say if the devil and Jesus are in a room and you put a lamb in there and a knife, who's going to stab the lamb? Is it going to be the devil or Jesus? I think it's going to, if I put Johnny Mountain and Tash Peterson in a room, I'm calling Tash Peterson the Jesus one here. Tash is a hero, says Hannah Moon Vegan. I completely agree. I think she's a hero. New ag gag laws likely going in through Canada. There's another thing. So should that be a law we all follow because there's new ag gag laws? People intentionally obfuscating the truth? That is something that I can't get behind. $250K fine and 2 years in jail. Is that reasonable? Is that reasonable, Reasonable Vegan?
yeah, fuck Canada.
All right. Well, next up.
All right, so I had a back and forth conversation with Cliff Grant on my animal welfare video.
This is the one that really, I did a reaction to this one on my channel because Cliff Grant to me is also one of those heroes. I think Cliff Grant is amazing. He's very inspiring to me. His 3 questions where he's able to get people who say they're against animal abuse to start justifying animal abuse, I think is poetry in motion. If you guys don't know about Cliff Grant, please check him out.
And the latest comment from him was an example or a hypothetical. He says, so we just got into a time machine and we are 2 allied commanders who just stumbled upon Nazi death camp in Poland and are about to meet the SS commander of the camp to discuss what happens next. And then he says, I'm referring to himself, I'm going to ask that the killing stops and the prisoners are liberated. And you, referring to me, you are going to tell them to continue killing if they must, but give the prisoners a comfortable bed each. Okay, so here's the thing. If there are good reasons for focusing on abolition and not welfare, this is not the reason. The one that Cliff is giving here. This is absolutely not the reason. There might be a couple of reasons. I don't think those reasons are right, but they could be right, and there are some possible reasons. This is some form of dishonesty, I think, or maybe it's not. Maybe it's just a lack of understanding. I don't know. But no.
I hate that type, that smug shit, lack of understanding. You're talking about Cliff Grant, you piece of shit. Who the fuck are you Johnny come lately? Like, I can't believe. Anyway, sorry.
So here's the problem. It's not as simple as what this is describing. It's not as simple as if 2 of us went to an area where people are being killed and one says, please stop killing everybody. And the other says, hey, you can do it if you want, but just give them good welfare. No. So me and Cliff both want animal liberation. We want animals to not be pointlessly killed, harmed, any of the stuff. And this just to stop happening. And we both constantly ask people all the time to stop. And if there was a way to directly just ask your government to stop it, something like that would take place. But that hasn't made the world vegan.
That's so ridiculous. Like, I'm sorry, I gotta stop right there. So we haven't made the world vegan by asking nicely. Is that okay? And like, we ask for liberation. That doesn't mean we stop asking for liberation. We demand liberation. We both want liberation, but we shouldn't focus on liberation. We both want abolition, but we shouldn't focus on abolition. How does that make any sense to you?
Here's the thing, right? Right. We're not fighting against cruelty to the animals, right?
Hmm.
We're not fighting against teeth being clipped. We're not fighting against tails being docked. We're not fighting against dehorning, right? Because unfortunately, that is better for the animals. Because when they put in, like the guy who I interviewed who'd been in prison, right? They don't give inmates sharp objects because they're in unnatural surroundings. They're crammed in together. They get frustrated and they will hurt each other, just like the animals will. The chickens will peck each other. The pigs will bite each other. They will rip each other's tails off. While we're keeping animals in these conditions, right, we've got to do these things to them. You ain't going to stop that. We're not fighting cruelty. What we're trying to do is stop using animals as objects, as products, full stop.
Exactly.
Right?
It is not a
We're not fighting cruelty.
Well, this is part of the reason why I love people like Joey Carbstrong and the way their language has changed since he's started advocating for animals. Like he's changed from kind of welfarist language to more rights-based language, where we're not talking about trying to make it better.
I don't think he's ever been welfarist, Joey. I think
I just think he's gotten better. That's what I'm saying. In his last couple of years, he's been like
but what I'm trying to say about Joey is that he's like me, right? He's got PTSD and he's got ADHD. Right, not a lot of people know that he suffers from both of those extremely. Right, he's gone through a lot in his life, and he's learned. Everybody's on a learning curve. Yes, he's catapulted himself to a massive following. However, he's learned as he's gone along, just as we all do. Right, and this is the point of this exercise of exposing reasonable vegan, right, to hopefully start thinking in a different way. Because to me, his message is dangerous.
Because he's not. I honestly don't think that he's vegan, because veganism is a liberation movement. It's not a better conditions for the animals movement. It's not. It just isn't. It's about the ending of exploitation and slavery of animals. And so it's, to me, I don't like the name reasonable vegan. I think reasonable vegan says that other vegans aren't reasonable. I think it also it's a misnomer, because he doesn't make really vegan content. He makes plant-based content, and we'll get more to that in a second. But Animals Are Here With Us, Not For Us says, go into RV's community page where he asks, what are unpopular beliefs as a vegan, and you will find what kinds of people are calling themselves vegan. Yeah, I think I'll probably be upset by that. I think maybe we should do that at the end of the show, just to see what else we're talking about here. Could be kind of fun. All right, so
before we go on, I mean, I've rescued animals. I've rescued turkeys. I've rescued turkeys twice from a turkey farm, right? Now, Carson would say, oh, you saved 2 animals' lives, isn't that the same as what I'm asking people to do? But no, I'm rescuing those 2 animals because then they will go on to a sanctuary, and that sanctuary, I know for a fact, the sanctuary that I take those animals to will try and educate people about these animals and let them get close to these animals, so they can get also a connection with those animals. So there's a reason behind it,
Totally, I get that, but there's also a difference between like the individual. Like, people get upset by the way I talk about not owning pets, and I'm like, well, yeah, if you need to take in a refugee as an individual, it makes perfect sense to me. Take things on an individual basis, but like, it doesn't make sense to me to be happily saying that owning pets is normalizing that. Trading off, Louis Guido said something interesting. Trading off long-term abolitionist goals which impact generations of animals for short-term welfare gains for fewer animals is an opportunity cost absolutely not worth it. Yeah, Louis Guido, I guess we're getting to a part in the video that I think I'm kind of going to get upset about again, because I remember watching this video before. But Cliff Grant is saying, empty the cages, stop the Holocaust. And he's saying, well, no, we can't ask for that. That's too big of an ask. We need to ask for more comfortable beds. I don't want more comfortable beds. I want to end the Holocaust. If in return, the truth is, when we demand abolition, they give us welfare, and then we demand abolition, and they give us more welfare, and then we demand abolition. But our position doesn't change. Our flag has the same colors on it.
Exactly. All you do when you advocate for welfare is you give people a hall pass, right? You don't say to someone who's an alcoholic, right, we want you to stop drinking
On Mondays.
But, hey, listen, just drink a couple of days a week. What you're saying to that alcoholic is you're saying, yes, we agree, it's fine. You have got a problem with drink, but you carry on drinking and it's the same with this. Free range eggs is the biggest example you can possibly have of where welfare goes completely wrong, because now these birds are out of the cages and they've got that to wander around in. They've got that now. Wow, look at that. You know, that they've got that to wander around in. So now people can sleep at night and they go and they say, we buy free range eggs. That's just fucked up veganism for another 20, 30 years of that generation, because they assume they're doing something good for the animals by buying 100%. Free range.
And by the way, I want to make very clear that I'm not saying don't celebrate victories. And there's certain organizations that are better at celebrating victories than others. Like I think that it's very sad that when Farmer John's was shut down, the organizers said, "Oh well, it's bittersweet because another slaughterhouse opened." That's not the message. The message is, yes, we're happy that the slaughterhouse shut down, and yes, there's still a lot of work to be done. And to me, it's like if you are in this hypothetical between him and Cliff Grant, it's like, oh, I want to end the Holocaust. What about nicer beds? Thank you for the nicer beds. I want to end the Holocaust. What about bigger fields? Thank you. That's a victory. I want to end the Holocaust. Ending the Holocaust is the goal. You could celebrate victories along the way if you'd like. The Geneva Convention. I want to end war. Well, what if we do a Geneva Convention? All right. I guess I'll go home now. No, we don't end it after that. Let's see. Grumpy. See if this makes you any more grumpy. This video made me real grumpy.
My point is that we tried this, we tried that. If there's a bunch of things that we want to be illegal, like the idea of factory farming, anything within factory farming, the idea of that being legal, we don't want. And so we could want complete animal liberation, but we could also have our main focuses be elsewhere.
Where would the focus be? That makes no sense. If that's what we want, why would the focus be elsewhere? That's called misdirection.
But yeah, if we went in this hypothetical and we're talking to some Nazis, and he could say, free the prisoners, and then they say no, then yes, the best thing for me to say is, can we give them comfortable beds? If somebody's gonna be a prisoner and they're gonna be executed and they have 7 days left to live, give them a nice bed. Give them 7 days worth of good meals. Yeah, all the things that would be considered welfareism. Do those things. I can't imagine how anybody would not want to do those things.
No one's saying not do those things, bro. Like, why does he say that? It's complete. When he says he's a master of misdirection, he's misunderstood the entire vegan movement.
He's a troll. Is he a troll?
I think he's a troll. Yeah.
Is he a troll though? People out there, is this guy a troll? Is he being serious? Is he acting? Is he a really good actor?
I don't know, but a guy who constantly is like, maybe it's just a lack of understanding, like his smugness about Cliff Grant not understanding, dude, you completely missed the point.
Is he on the spectrum where he can't? Is he got? I don't know. There's something about him that doesn't seem right. You know?
Yeah.
Slippery one. It's just really. I just don't.
Well, I mean the spectrum.
Louis Guido says he's genuine, but
where's Louis? There he is. He's genuine. Oh, you think he's authentic? That he's actually being for sure. He really winds me up, Laura Griffiths. What's up, y'all? Yeah, it's the 4 horsemen of anti-veganism. I love Cranky Vegan, but the other ones kind of bug me. I think Jake's got some interesting points, although I disagree with.
I don't mind Jake at all. I don't mind Jake. I've misinterpreted him a few times, but he's led me on to a different way of thinking.
Well, I'll tell you what, Dan. I think that he's vegan.
Yeah, he's vegan. He's definitely vegan.
You know what I mean? Exactly. I think that I disagree with some of the things that he says, but I think he's vegan. I'll put it that way. And I'm
Leon
pro-vegan.
says even if he's on the spectrum, we don't accept him as one of us. But see, no, I don't agree with that, Leon.
What spectrum are we talking about? Because people keep
well,
on
I
saying I'm on the
said I
autistic
thought
spectrum.
could he be on the spectrum of autism or some sort of neurodiverse sort of could that be the reason that he looks at things so literally? Because that's what people on the autism spectrum do. They look at things very, very literally. They only see black and white. They don't see the blurry rainbows in between, do they?
Yeah.
So
I don't really want to get on the cranky vegan tangent. I love all you guys, but we're talking about just one here. I would say that cranky vegan and I disagree on certain tactics, but
Lewis says he's had a number of private chats with him, so I have a good gauge of whether he's genuine. Laura says no, Dan is just a massive dick. Don't compliment the guy, Laura.
She's talking about me.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, all right. Animal's here with us, not for us. Thinks it's funny as well. All right, let's. This is a short one. I kind of want to just go a little bit deeper, and then we'll go to the next one. Okay.
It's like you'd have to be not understanding it, or you'd have to
see what I mean.
Reason why
that type of shit, you have to be not understanding it. Pisses me off because he evinces an entire lack of understanding, a level of ignorance about a movement of which he claims to be a part.
Dude, you're gonna have to slow down a little bit as well. Stop it, because my meds are wearing off now. Just like
you want me to slow it down? Sorry, I watch everything at 2.
But you butting in and talking like 100 mile an hour with your American drawl doesn't help neither. Just
drawl,
like, slow things down.
All right, mate. No problem, mate. Dignity.
What is that? What is
that? Is a possible thing. I don't see.
Well, drawl. Come on, so insulting. I'm insulted by drawl.
There's a likely thing. I mean, just imagine somebody gets sentenced to death, even if it's for good reason, and they're on death row, and they get one last good meal or something. That's a very good thing. Give them a good meal. Now it's more complicated to compare it to something like that because we might view that they don't deserve it because
no one's saying not to make it nice.
Kind of a situation. You just take anything happening in some country where you think the act is wrong, and making it better is better. Like right now, there's slavery all over the world. There's many countries that have all kinds of slavery. I can't remember the numbers, but I think it's well into the millions.
And you're okay with it?
Still exist. If you went into one of those countries and made it to where they had like let's say that the slavery was going to exist for like the next 1,000 years or something, then it would be amazing if we made it illegal to cut the hands off of slaves as a punishment or something like that. Any amount of good you can do is good. Do the good. if you have a strong good,
but no one is saying not do good. Where is he coming up with this shit? This is why I think he completely misunderstands the entire vegan movement. We want abolition, and then they give us welfare, and we demand we demand abolition, and then they give us welfare to shut us up a little bit longer, and then we demand abolition. This is no different than any other social justice movement. Hold on, Mike the Musical Beast. Let me see. What would Leslie Cross think of all this? I don't know what Leslie Cross would think, but John Cross would probably be okay with it. I loved much of Hancock. Ugh, no, not Hancock. I don't like him. Carson wouldn't help people in Africa if they were invaded by aliens. He admitted this in a debate with Vegan Gains. Yeah, the Vegan Gains.
I watched the debate with Vegan Gains.
Me too.
And that really got my goal. It really did. Oh God, I'm using species.
Yeah, that's the first time I ever saw it. He also said that he wouldn't sacrifice himself to end the Holocaust. So that's kind of a layup question. Like, would you sacrifice your life to save 6 million lives? The answer is yes, guys. I don't. If someone asks you that hypothetical, say yes, or else people think you're a psychopath.
It's like the crop deaths argument. His take on crop deaths is like absolutely crazy.
Reasonable Vegan eats bivalves. Okay, we're going to talk about bivalves in a second. That's on the next video. But right now we're talking about the Holocaust. I can only talk about one thing at a time. Right now we're talking about the Holocaust. He doesn't think we should end the Holocaust. We should focus elsewhere, like getting the victims better beds.
Evidence to reason to believe that an act of good will cause more harm in the long run, then don't do the good. Like if you hung a piece of food from a rope and a stick over a cliff, and an animal was going to go eat that food, but then it was going to fall to its death, then I guess the that you could call you're giving that food to the animal is a good.
Why do people enjoy these types of hypotheticals, Dan? Do you enjoy these types of things?
I've listened to his hypotheticals, right? And I get lost halfway through them. They just really do not make any sense, and most of them don't have any relevance. He said once, if I was full and there was an apple on a tree and the deer was going to eat that apple, I would shoot the deer. Or would you shoot the deer? I'm like, what does it mean?
I don't know what that. I mean, like he's hungry or he's full? What do you mean? He's full and the deer's going to eat the apple?
Yeah, he doesn't need the apple. He's trying to do something. What he says is also, if fat people eating donuts is not vegan because they're causing more crop deaths.
Well, Cosmic Septic, Cosmic Colon said the same thing. He said that it's unethical to eat more than your fair share of calories, and therefore those who work out and stuff are unethical. And I'm like, bodybuilders are unethical because they're eating more than their fair share of calories. We're not in an era of food scarcity, so I don't see how that would apply.
We're in an era of food waste.
Yes,
we're in an era we throw away thousands upon thousands of tons of food.
Precisely,
we have waste.
Yeah, we have a food distribution problem, not a food supply problem. He thinks killing deer and eating him deer and eating him is better than eating apples if harvesting caused more crop deaths. Yeah, it's a classic utilitarian argument. That's just why that's not a vegan thing. It's about rights, not about this greater good bullshit. Like, well, you could say, I remember one time in an ethics course in college, some asshole said that, some student said that the French Revolution was misguided because directly after the French Revolution, after they got rid of the kings and queens, that there was a period of horror. Like, it was really bad for the French after their revolution because of squalor and all the other horrible things that happened directly after. And it was like we got in this argument because he's trying to say that because of that, we should have just kept kings and queens. And no, the answer is no. We should not have the anointed by God people ruling us. Even Englishmen say that they're subject to the same laws as the subjects. So they got rid of that system because it was unjust. Yes, they had to have some pain and horrible things happen afterwards, but in the long run, it was better. So the utilitarian argument would say, well, we should have kept kings and queens, so we wouldn't have had that part of suffering. No, because it's unjust to be ruled by those who are anointed by God. Unless you're in the image of God, unless you're Tristan Tate and you're made in the image of God, then there's only Tristan Tate. Smoking a cigar. Sorry, content warning, Roger. Sorry. I saw him. He's on your channel. He's not even on mine. I blocked him. All right, so let's see. Content. I know anytime I make any gesture with my hands, I want to put a content warning on there because how.
But it's going to lead to a bad thing. Like, there's probably some rare cases where a good can lead to a bad thing, but making it illegal to hurt animals likely is just a good and not a bad. So anyways, Cliff, if you ever are
illegal to hurt animals, does that include slitting their throats? What do you think?
That's just cruelty.
That's
cruel. He's saying he's against cruelty there.
Okay, so here's the next one. This is going to be a fun one. I think this one's going to be right up there. But before we get to the bivalve question, let me ask you, Dan Shepard.
Huh?
Do you eat scallops?
Scallops?
Yeah. I'm not talking scalloped potatoes. I'm talking like the animal.
No, why would I do that?
No, I don't know why someone would do it. Do you eat snails or I don't know, clams or oysters?
No, why would I do that?
I don't know why they would do that. I'm glad that you'd say that. Okay, so do you not eat them because you're vegan?
I don't eat them because they're an animal.
There you go. Yeah, I think that's perfectly reasonable. I think you're the reasonable vegan, Dan. That's the most reasonable thing I've heard all day. Stop being so unreasonable. Hold on. Let's hear what reasonable vegan says about scallops. One of these days, here we go. Why do you eat bivalves?
All right. So I got a question that says, why do you consume bivalves? And there's also a sort of question or comment in there.
Justin
to that
Viola.
saying, yes, it's odd. Seems reasonable vegan doesn't have enough confidence in the vegan.
Laura
diet."
Griffiths stating the
Okay,
obvious.
So bivalves. And so for anybody that doesn't know, bivalve refers to like oysters, clams, scallops, mussels, that kind of thing. So it is a category of what is technically considered an animal, but they are not sentient. They do not have a central nervous system.
Ooh, first up, sentience. Okay, everybody, sentience is not the end all and be all. It's one tool in the vegan tool belt. It's not about like, if you're not sentient, that means we should kill you and eat you. It's just one of the tools that we use to differentiate between animals and plants. And if you're in the gray area, like like an oyster, you have to rely on observed behavior. Like, for example, the oysters seem to clench in fear. They seem to react to stimulus. When you put an irritant in their faces, they surround it with nacre so that they can stop being so irritated. They take measures to ameliorate their own suffering. They seem to be observed experiencing fear. Now, evolutionary biologists say that the difference between animals and humans are animals and plants is the flight reflex, which gives birth to the idea of suffering. But that is not the end all and be all. Sentience is not it. But anyway, because sentience gets hard to define sometimes, doesn't it, Dan? You still with me, Dan?
Yeah.
Sorry, what were
carry
you doing
on.
there?
Nothing. I was just listening to you waffle on.
Waffle on, you fuck. God, I miss you, Dan. You
You do waffle on. You just waffle.
I don't waffle on.
Dude, you go on for ages. Like you.
Well, that's why I speak so quickly. So
too many words. Thousands of words too many that you need to.
Well, use
But
your words,
sentence
Dad.
would. Go on, carry on. I've got things to say about
there's nothing
bivalves.
that it's like to be like them. There's nothing that they can sense or feel or anything like that. And
they can sense and feel.
So anyways, in my mind, that's
right. Hang on. Pause. People are saying that the volume on the video is too quiet compared with us. I know we're loudmouths.
It's not. It's the video. It's not me. Yeah, it's not me. It's the video.
Right. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's mute our mics and turn it up, people. We might mute our mics.
Then you can don't mute your mic, because then you can tell me when you want to stop.
Okay.
Veganism isn't about protecting flowers or trees or rocks or anything. We are protecting, or at least some form of protecting or not harming animals that can suffer and have experiences, and we can assume want to live. We don't assume that of plants. We don't assume that of something that is not sentient. Now, other people might have different classifications, but they'd have to explain what is it about a bivalve that they want to protect. And you'd have to give a reason. You'd have to explain why you're doing a thing. I mean, you don't have to, but I guess that would just be you doing a thing without there being a reason for it. So anyway, similar to if a sunflower someday evolved to have sentience, therefore it felt pain and didn't want to be harmed, then a vegan would start not harming sunflowers. So same thing would go for something like a bivalve. If it's found, like right now it is thought of as not being sentient. If it is found to be sentient in the future or evolves to be sentient, then it would make sense for a vegan to stay away from it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, right. So bivalves, okay, they've got the beginnings of nerve ganglia. Yeah.
Yeah, they have ganglia. Yeah.
Science has stated, right? Have stated they doubt bivalves would experience pain. However, they are not averse to the idea that they could experience something that resembles pain, but not the same as we do, right? It wasn't long ago when people assumed that fish weren't sentient and fish didn't feel that, right?
True. I remember when I was a kid, they said there were no nerve endings in their face.
Exactly. And then science found out that fish caught in a stream or a lake never returned to that particular spot for years after being caught in that spot, right? bivalves, why would you eat them in the first place, right? Why would you eat them? They are an animal, right? And they could be experiencing pain. The jury is out on whether they do or do not. So why would you when you do not need to?
Yes,
What do you get from oysters that you cannot get from plants or supplements?
totally agree with you, obviously. But what makes an animal, I guess? And is it just the ability to experience pain? What if they don't experience pain? I don't care because I still don't want to enslave them. What is an animal but a creature that could have experiences? Now, what his problem is, he says they don't sense or feel anything. Well, they clearly feel something because they make pearls, oysters, in the case of oysters. They clearly feel something because they'll clamp down harder on their shells to keep somebody from opening them or attacking them. So clearly they're afraid. Meanwhile, scallops have eyeballs. They have eyeballs, little blue eyeballs that poke out. Tell me they don't experience things. Isn't that what an animal is? The ability to experience something in a unique way, to experience the world in a unique way. Isn't that what an animal is?
But why? But this is. I mean, put all that to one side, Sky. Put that all to one side, right? Why would you want to be part of an industry that is using and farming animals? Why would you want to be part of that? Whether they are sentient or not, let's give Smart Son the benefit of the doubt, right? Let's say they can't experience pain, right? But the physiology, they've been classed as an animal. Why would you want to farm animals when you can live a happy, healthy, fit, strong life on plants? Why? I don't get it. I do not get it. Why would you advocate for that?
I don't understand it. I've been vegan
It's
19,
sending out
19
mixed
years.
messages.
I haven't had any oysters, so I'm still kicking. So I don't really understand why we're even debating it in vegan circles seems absurd to me, completely. Why would you participate in a system of oppression that is clearly wrong? I don't understand it. But
I mean, as soon as you start, it's like the backyard hens thing, right? It's how it all starts, right? We're never going to get rid of animal agriculture if we allow grey areas like this to happen, because it's exploitation of animals, full stop. So
yeah,
while we give allowances for oysters and clams, we're still giving the green light, which is Meatless Monday does, is giving the green light to say to these people that abuse, that oppress animals, that yes, it is wrong oppressing animals, but we'll give you the green light as long as you don't do it on a Monday. We'll give you the green. You know, it's just giving a hall pass to them. And what the backyard egg thing is like, it's like you get your few eggs and then you find out you've got way too many eggs for yourself. So some of your neighbours say, "Yeah, I'll give you some fruit for those eggs." Oh yeah, and then it starts. Oh well, I want a few more eggs. Well, give me some money, and then there we go. Animal agriculture started all over again. You know,
well, yeah, I mean, it's just stupid. But there's another thing that he said there about like, well, why don't we value sunflowers? Well, actually, trees are not sentient, but I also don't believe that we should be indiscriminately tearing out trees. I think that they're the difference, the reason why like trees have value. I don't think we should just be clear cutting forests just for fun. If you're not, there has to be a reason, a justification for it. Everything in nature, if we're just going to tear it apart, that doesn't mean that they have no value because they're not sentient. Like this wild adherence to sentience is a weird thing to me, and it's something that in vegan especially newer vegans, they're always talking about sentience and suffering.
don't clams have the ability to move and escape danger?
Yeah, they fly
Right.
around.
Okay. Plants don't. Plants don't have the. Plants have been around a lot longer than we have, and a lot longer than most of the animals on the planet have.
They've also
right?
evolved
You'd think
to eat it.
in
Yes.
billions and billions of years, if they felt pain and were sentient, they would have evolved the ability to move, and to run away from danger.
The flight
Plants, if
reflex.
they, yeah.
It's Darwin. They're talking about the flight reflex being the difference between animals and plants, and that makes perfect sense to me. But all that does is give us a tool to navigate our world more ethically. That doesn't mean, okay, well, it's okay to chop down every tree in sight for no reason. No, we should protect some trees too. We shouldn't just be squander our resources. I think that, I'm not saying that trees have rights. I think animals have rights, but I think we need to be better stewards of all of nature, and we need to value them accordingly. Vegans value animal life and resource management, not just there you go. Thank you, Mike, the musical vegan beast. You said it better than me. Thank you very much. That's exactly where I was angling toward. Thank you. I completely agree with Mike, the musical vegan beast on that.
Did you see a TV show documentary on Netflix called The Cave of Bones?
Yes, I loved it.
Oh my God. So we've got a small-brained chimp-like human that buried the dead and created art.
A non-human animal that buried the dead, created art, had some kind of religion and writing.
And what
Or
was the
art,
what was
or
it?
art,
What
yeah,
was
yeah,
the
the
thing? It
X's.
was a hashtag. It looked like a
Yeah.
hashtag.
I loved it. It's almost like when I watched that, I was like, wow, that's probably like what aliens would think. Well, like if they came down, they'd think that we were, wow, these non-Kryptonians are making art and burying their dead. How incredible. These primitive animals that are kind of like us, but not quite. I mean, when Benny Malone used to come on my channel a lot, he talked about like it's different in degree and not in kind. And I think the oyster is a good example. They are different in degree, but not in kind. They have different ideas. They have different, degrees of feelings, but that doesn't mean they don't have feelings. Well, what about sunflowers? Man, don't go. If I saw a child just tearing up a sunflower field, I'd be like, yo, kid, chill out. What are you doing? There's no reason to do that. Chill.
I'd shoot them. I'd shoot them if they were non-vegan kids.
Non-vegan kids, great.
This is the thing about crop deaths as well, right?
Crop death. There we go.
If the pests that were attacking our crops were orphaned children who were starving, would the farmer's first reaction be to get his shotgun, get poison sweets, or traps? No, he wouldn't. The only reason that we have crop deaths at the moment is because farmers value animal life as nothing, because most crop farmers aren't vegan.
Well, I don't know, Dan. I think that many farmers would choose the poison and the trap and the gun. Look what's happening in Texas right now. Haven't you heard about this buoy barrier that they put in the Rio Grande, and they're taking orphans and throwing them back in the river? That there are cases where they've taken people who are sick and hungry and tired and broke and in the middle of the desert, and they throw them back in the river because they don't want them to come to the country. I mean, there's a huge lawsuit right now between the federal government and the state of Texas because that's what the people of Texas are doing, are close to what you're describing. I mean, I think that.
But that's another thing completely. That's lines drawn in the sand called borders, and that's
what the farm is, isn't it? The fence of the farm is my border. Don't cross it, or I'm going to kill you.
No. I think you misinterpreted what I was saying. I'm saying the attackers, the people who are violating your rights to your food, if they were something that the farmers valued, they wouldn't go straight to the shotgun.
Yes.
And what I'm saying is that the animals that are violating our rights, because that's what animals do when they attack our crops, they're violating our rights. Whether they can think what they're doing is wrong or not, whether they're responsible mentally or not, they're still violating our rights to grow our own food. But would the farmers react the same if it was human children? No, they wouldn't. And that is the problem we've got, is that non-vegan farmers use the one thing that they think, we don't value animals, so therefore I can just shoot them, trap them, and poison them.
Mm-hmm.
No? Nice.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's about this value call that they make. I think you're right. I think that we're seeing similar things happen in I think it's very similar. The crop deaths, and the attack of the people. Sorry, the beings that are eating what their products are, and the way we're treating humans now. I think it's but how do you instill a value of any kind of life if it's okay to kill animals in such a fashion? That's something that I think a lot of Gary Yourofsky talks about that, right? Like if you raise a child to understand that you have different size, shapes, and colors of all beings, then when they finally go out into the real world, they're not racist and they're not sexist because they just see other beings as different size, shapes, and colors.
I mean, Reasonable Vegan says that if you had, he gives an example of an apple and a piece of steak, and if the apple had caused more deaths, would it be fairer to eat the steak, right? And this is the argument he had with Vegan Gains about this, and it's just totally ridiculous because, you know, in farming in the UK last year there was 25 human deaths through accidents on farms. There was 2 children killed who were not involved with farming or workers, and an adult killed on farms just walking through or whatever. You know, there's deaths in everything, but those aren't deliberate deaths. They're not oppressed. They've got freedom. They've got rights. You know, it's not the same at all. You know, we don't. It's not about less harm. It's about the fact, right, that we oppress animals. We oppress them.
Yes.
That's what this is all about. And animals that are in the crop fields, right? They are there because they're free and they're free to do what they want. They're not subjugated. They make their own decisions. They
Right.
made the decision to go onto that farm. We've made the decision that we have to, unfortunately, kill some. Same with a mosquito. Mosquito comes in. The only choice we've got to protect ourselves is to kill that. Is that vegan? Of course it is. Of course it
Well,
is.
yeah, I think that I made a video recently. I'm like, it's not my veganism that keeps me from stepping on the roach inside my house, or during the summer, like we get a couple animals coming into the house. I choose not to kill them. I choose to capture and release them outside. But that's not my veganism that's doing that. That's just because I'm trying to be a good person. My veganism keeps me from capturing the roach, raping the roach, making a bunch of roach babies, eating those roaches. That's what my veganism does. Like, I don't want to exploit the cockroach. You know what I mean?
And this is what this man is not getting. This is what this man is not getting. It's not about diet. It's not about environmental issues. It's not about getting better conditions for animals. It's nothing to do with that. It's to stop oppression of animals. It's to stop using animals as commodities. That's what we're trying to stop. And
right. And I think that his argument is, well, so then if we're going to treat animals better, you're just going to say no. No vegan has ever said that. No vegan has said we don't want bigger cages. They say we want liberation. And then when they say, how about bigger cages? We say, yes, thank you. Now give us liberation. That's the game.
Exactly. We can say it till we're blue in the face, mate. And
that's the whole movement, like in a nutshell, right? Keep making those vegan gains. Meat flakes after eating an apple. Did I do a veganism? Did I do a veganism? Did I just pull a vegan? The Cropstead, though, Mike Askew over on your channel is saying argument is such an intellectually dishonest one and they know it, a distraction, that's all. Not as dishonest as the B argument from Piers Morgan, to me, is the most disingenuous argument I've ever heard. So this is the bivalve. Are we done with bivalves? Because we got one more
we're
video.
done with bivalves. Bivalves, and you can't eat bivalves. You don't eat bivalves. You don't advocate to eat bivalves because you've got to give them the benefit of the doubt. How would you feel if you been eaten bivalves and then some sort of new scientific discovery on a mega micro sort of scale finds out that they were actually screaming in agony as they put into boiling water?
Totally.
You know? Lobsters. Throwing lobsters into boiling water, you know?
And lobsters are sentient now, says the scientific community. So
they weren't before.
I know they weren't, and now they are.
Carson would have been chewing on those motherfuckers, wouldn't he?
Yeah,
You know
they're not sentient though.
No, they're not sentient.
Yeah. Oh, that makes me sick to my stomach. Vegan D just said something. I missed I saw it a while ago, but Vegan D said, give the animals the benefit of the doubt. They seem sentient to me. Then just give them the benefit of the doubt. Don't kill them. Don't rape them. Don't torture them. Don't exploit them. I think is a pretty easy thing to do. Last thing about bivalves I want to say was that that the vegan movement has enough confusing things to contend with. Why add more confusing shit into the vegan sphere as it is? Like, well, you can only eat meat on Mondays, but you can't on Tuesday. And if the moon is full, you're allowed to eat oysters, but on a new moon, you can eat lobster. Like, no animals. That's the line in the sand. I don't see why we would complicate it any further. You know what I mean? All right, that's the last thing I want to say about that. I know you say a waffle on. Thank you. Some people like my waffling, by the way.
All right, so I made a video talking about the importance of welfare when it comes to animals and working towards legislation to basically just create laws that prevent people from harming animals in farms. And so this response is to Wendy, because Wendy responded to the video saying, I guess, would it be right to focus on non-punching law before no-killing law? And so this is referring to in the video where I say, imagine if humans didn't have the laws we had, you can't kill people, you can't punch people, all these different things. We would want to fight for all these laws, not just like everything all at once. We'd want whatever we could get. And so she's pointing out that we would care more about, let's see, would it be right to focus? Okay, she's saying that wouldn't it be better to focus on the no kill and then the no punch? So when it comes to animals, when I'm saying let's not just focus on the abolition, let's focus on each individual laws. That's kind of
this is where I'm at. Like, okay, so he's not vegan then. Isn't that right there? Just like I'm not vegan. Don't focus on abolition.
Carry on.
point here. And so here's kind of the mix up. So when you want to focus on changing a law for a topic, the most important law to change would be the biggest one, the one that's the biggest deal. So if humans were legally allowed to be killed and punched, you would want to focus on a law saying that you can't kill people. Now, here's where it's kind of different with animals. So if you couldn't pass that one, if the government was going to say, nope, we're not going to make a law that you can't kill people. But if there was a chance to make a law where you can't punch people, then that would be the next focus. So when it comes to animals and farms, as of right now, there's no end in sight as far as the government making it legal or letting it be legal to kill animals and eat them. But there are plenty of reasons to believe, and that we've seen, where there are laws protecting animals. Like,
all right, Dan.
I haven't seen this one before. I've not heard his. That's why I said carry on with it.
We can watch more of it if you want. But
just play a little bit more. I just want to.
Okay, well, I just want to say the first thought to me is that punching isn't the problem; it's the killing. The killing's the problem. You pass laws based on the problems that you have. The problem is that we're raping and killing animals. That's why, if anybody watches my channel, I think there's only one law necessary, and it's breeding animals. Stop breeding all animals, all rape of all animals, and the rest of the problems fix themselves. But all right, let's get back to more of this fine young cannibal.
So you can own a dog or a cat, but you can't beat it to death. You can't torture it just for fun. And so same thing, if somebody was caught torturing a cow, just like stabbing a cow, but then like sewing it up and draining some of its blood out just to have some ritual of putting blood all over your face, or to film it suffering and just like grabbing a chicken by its leg and hanging it upside down and doing all these torturous things. Those things are probably currently illegal. So even though it would be the
farm animals, that's not. But
the most important law would be to not be killed. If we have things where it's legal to take like a branding thing, like a thing to put on fire and brand your label into your cow, then if there's a chance that we can make that illegal, but we can't make the killing them illegal, then you just focus on the next best thing. It'd be something similar to like in the time of slavery. If the government wouldn't agree to end slavery, but you could at least get something in place saying that I don't know, you can't rape them, or you can't you're legally not allowed to kill them, or you legally can't punish them by like amputating one of their limbs or something like that. You would go for the absolute most you can get. If you imagine a list of all the things that you'd want to make law,
what's the absolute most you can get?
All those things law. If you can only make 30 of the 40 law, then make 30 of the 40 law. It's not just that you could imagine 100 different laws, but you only want to go for one, and it happens to be one that's the furthest from the likelihood of happening. It's still something worth fighting for, the abolition, but
and not an appeal to futility.
Yeah, the focus isn't necessarily.
Yeah, it's an appeal to futility. Yeah, that's almost everything. That's what makes them reasonable. That it's everything's futile, and why bother? Okay, so thoughts, Mr. Shepherd?
Can't say it without swearing. So
Well, I think that ship has sailed. I don't think that this is going to be a monetized video because of all your incessant swearing. I'm surprised you haven't called me a C word. Oh, you did call me a C word, so might as well.
that's what I was going to call him.
Yeah. Well, good then. I mean, since you've already done it to me, you might as well.
What he is a cunt. He's a total cunt. It's an absolute total cunt, right? It just astounds me, right, that this man isn't a troll, a very clever troll,
He's
or
a
a very
pick me
stupid troll.
vegan. Fucking pick me vegans, man. I don't like them.
I don't like. I mean, he just does not make sense. I don't know what the world would look like if he was in charge.
Kutstra
Oh,
says,
vegan stallion.
I love vegan stallion. I don't see vegan stallion. Oh, here he is. Yeah, vegan stallion. You gotta. You're a little bit behind, my friend. Vegan stallion's one of my favorite guys on the internet. But
See, this is what I mean. I just think he's very dangerous, and I think he needs to take a big, long look at what veganism is, and I think he needs to reevaluate what message he's putting out there. Now, if he was talking in private amongst his friends, I would never hear him. But when he's on a public forum like this, right, you need to be careful what messages you're putting out there, right?
well, he's missed the plot, hasn't he? I mean, this is my problem with it, is that he constantly is like, well, maybe you misunderstand. Dude, you misunderstand what vegan is. Stop calling
It's
yourself
just
reasonable
not-
vegan.
Just not. This make things do the next best thing. No, we don't want the next best thing. We ain't ever going to get anywhere. Yes, we're not going to see a vegan USA. We're not going to see a vegan UK in my lifetime.
Oh, I think
Maybe
we will. I disagree, Dan. I think we will.
Well, whatever. Maybe we will. Maybe we won't. But it's all a bonus. Just like bigger cages is a bonus. Just like free-range pig farms is a bonus, right?
well,
It's
yes.
not what we want.
Right. It's
We're
kind of
never
like,
going to fight for that. We're never going to be saying we want free-range pig farms. No,
I totally agree. Exactly. I think that the last great social justice movement in America, which is the civil rights movement for African Americans, they weren't like, we want you to stop sicking dogs on us. That's all we want. All we want is you to stop sicking dogs on us. No, they want equality. They want equality. They do not want this, and they're still fighting that. We're like, we in America are still fighting for equality of all of our races. It takes time, but if what we're saying is all we want is black people to not have dogs sicked on them, that's not what we want. We want true equality. It's ridiculous.
See, that's Justin Viola's comment. Put that up, right?
Justin Viola, got him.
It's what he says there. 743. Yeah, that's why I get the impression they're doing this intentionally. Like, it's not about animal rights. It's about egocentrical attention. Yeah, and that's what I think is going on here. Because he's got vegan gains on for clout. He's getting
Vegan Gains won't even come on my channel, so
he's what he's trying to do is, I like to play devil's advocate, right? I like to put things out there, right? Because I want people to talk about them, right? But he's doing it for clout. He's putting this shit out there so that people like Vegan Gains will see it and say, no, he's not getting away with this. And he gets clout. And yeah, I think there's a lot of it to do with ego. Just like these people who just go out and liberate animals for their Instagram likes, you know?
yeah. Or
It's
pick up
ego.
trash on the beach. Have you seen that, where she picks up trash on the beach for the Instagram and then she just throws it back on the beach? I think Richard likes debating, and I think that's why he was on there. Does that give him clout? I don't think that added any clout. He's got like,
if you get Vegan Gains on your channel, yeah, it is. You get a bit of clout. Of course you do. Of course you do. You get exposure to a lot of people. I mean, obviously they want to see Vegan Gains destroy him.
But if your position is that the Holocaust is okay and he's okay with, like, I mean, what clout are you getting? You're not getting clout in the vegan movement. I don't know who wants. In my dream world is that he wakes up and becomes a real vegan, but I think that he's just a sociopath. I think he's a utilitarian sociopath, like Peter Singer or something.
I just don't know. I really don't know what to make of him. I really wanted to expose his ass today and just let people go over to his channel, take a look. Right, you're not supporting him by going over. Go up and make your own minds up. You know, but it's just I can't see how big is his channel. By the way, is
He's got like, well, it's he gets a lot of views, but he's only got 350 subscribers. But his videos get a lot of views. Like he's getting tons of views, and once
he's a bit like the opposite to the vegan teacher. Do you know what I mean? She's getting views for being cringe, but for the right reasons.
Well, she's cringe for the animal rights. Yeah, she's cringe. For animal rights. Yeah.
He's getting views because he's telling people what they want to hear. Yes, go vegan, but you can eat oysters. You know, you can get away with it. That's
except
fine.
He's not even telling. He doesn't tell people to go vegan. He tells people to go meatless Monday. He doesn't tell people to go vegan or go as vegan as possible. I don't know what that means. Vegan as possible is 100%. That's how possible it is. You know, like you could go vegan 100% overnight, or you could ease into it if you're scared or whatever. But honestly, what's possible is 100%. John Cross is like 84 years old. He's been vegan since he was born. You don't tell me like it's not possible. As vegan as possible. So ridiculous.
I mean, I'll put a message out there to reasonable vegan, and it's this: reevaluate what messages you're putting out there, Patson. Reevaluate what you're saying to people, because what you're doing is you're systematically dismantling the vegan message. You've even made your own vegan definition. He's even made his own vegan definition. His ego is that fucking inflated.
Well, I find that to be like, yeah, I find it to be almost like the appropriate. It's funny because I say, I've been vegan long enough to where people use the word improperly. I feel like you're appropriating my culture. This is something I've lived with almost half my life now, and you're gonna tell me that that you know better than me. You just got here. You know what I mean? And reinvent the whole thing. It's not okay.
Ulf says get him on the channel and educate him.
I ran a poll on my channel to see if I should, but it's about 50-50. So my channel is only for vegans. Maybe you should have them on yours, Dan.
No, I want to. I'm going to do a fundraiser, right?
You have carnies on your channel, right?
I'm going to get a fundraiser, right? And I'm going to get a flight over there. I'm going to kidnap him. I'm going to tie him to a chair. I'm going to sharpen a carrot, right? And then I'm going to ask the bivalves what I should do with the carrot. I'm going to ask them.
Well, I'm sure that they'll not clam up at the opportunity. Let's see. Animals are here with us, not for us. Apparently, debug your brain on my channel says, yeah, we'll talk with RV. That would be kind of interesting, actually, because Justin is quite the master debater. But I think Justin can probably convince
He's
you.
He's a master debater, did you say?
Yeah. Well, I'm not.
Turning veganese, yeah. I also came up with my own definition, which was hated by everyone. Yeah. Stop it, veganese. Stop it. I love your picture, by the way. That's great. I love it.
Have you seen his channel? Turning Veganese is brilliant, and everyone should follow him. He does these amazing weekly videos.
Yeah, I think I do follow him. Yeah.
And he does this thing where he does this. I'm gonna eat forever. It's very, very funny. I laugh every time. Him and No Injustice Lasts Forever. Oh, No Injustice Lasts Forever is right there. Two great channels to follow if you want to follow real vegans who are there.
I mean, as you know, Sky, I'm not a great debater. I'm not. I struggle with debate, so I'm not one to do this sort of thing. I mean, I could have a conversation with the guy, and I'd try not to sort of flip or rage quit or anything like that. But yeah, someone does need to have him on the channel and have a good, strong word with the guy. But
well, Dan, my dream is to make content for vegans, not to have a bunch of carnies on my shit about trying to tell me why eating bivalves is okay. It's not really what I'm interested in. I'm trying to build a world where I have no friends who are not vegans. I want vegan friends, vegan colleagues, vegan everything. That's what I want. That's my dream. So he won't be on my channel, I don't think. I entertained the notion, but then I found out about the bivalve thing, and I'm like, screw it, not interested.
I've tried with him. Believe me, I've tried and I've tried with this guy to listen and think, is there any logic in? I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not great at speaking like logically, but when I listen to the logical arguments, I really take it in and I really listen, and I really have given the guy the benefit of the doubt over the last month and everything to listen to what he's saying in his arguments and whether it's right what he's saying and take anything from it. But no, he even had a chat with George, and
Yeah,
George even was like, sort of after, like, who the hell is this guy?
it's
You know what I
funny 'cause
mean?
George is like the well, George is an interesting one too. George Martin, you're talking about, I hope, right?
George Martin, yeah.
George Martin, Carnism Debunked, is he was on my channel, and I loved talking with him. He's like let all the people die. So I mean, he's pretty hardcore. So it's kind of hard to get him off. I don't know. He's an interesting one. I guess like the reason why I really started, the first time I reacted to one of his videos, Carson, whatever his channel, Reasonable Vegan. Carson's channel, the first time I reacted to one of his videos, I was like, you're not going to like me because you are fucking talking so much shit on Joey Carbstrong, who's out there doing the work. And it was one of his Carbstrong's outreach videos. And he's saying that Carbstrong's the reason why people don't like vegans. And that like infuriated me. I like, even just saying it makes me, I feel like my blood going up. That Carbstrong is the reason why people don't like vegans. He's the why are vegans such assholes, I think was the name of that video. He's since taken it down, I think. But
that's the reason that there are so many vegans, because of Joey Carbstrong.
You could have, I think there's room in this in vegan world to criticize each other and each other's tactics, but you're going to say he's the reason why people hate vegans? Go fuck yourself. I mean, what are you talking about?
That just screams to me.
To say.
That just seems to me that screams he wants to be a like me, love me vegan. That's what he wants.
Pick me vegan.
Exactly, a pick me vegan, a cupcake vegan. Yeah, you go and eat animals, just certain ones, because we assume they don't feel pain. But yeah, right, I'm done with Carson, mate.
All right, well, let me ask you one last question since we were going to stay on for 8 more minutes. How are you celebrating Mick Jagger's birthday? And which is your favorite Rolling Stones song? Because it's Mick Jagger's birthday today, and I'm sure.
I love what's it? Paint It Black.
Paint It Black's a good one, yeah.
And I love Sympathy with the Devil.
Ooh, that's a good one too.
Yeah, and Jumping Jack Flash. I just love most of the Rolling Stones music. I really got into them late, because they were my mum's, the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, they were my mum's bands, and I'm like, oh no, I'm not liking any of them. I want the Sex Pistols and all this stuff. But
well, nothing wrong with that.
So later in life, I started listening to the Rolling Stones, and they're fucking amazing. Absolutely.
I always been a big fan of the Stones. I never got to see the Stones full. I got to see the Stones sound check. Because I worked, so I got to go to their sound check, but I didn't get to see the concert. But I think it's even cooler. Notorious Tam Payton sent you a super chat, but I guess I'll honor it. Tam Payton, if you follow my channel, I'll do what you say. How about that? Since you're giving Dan all the money. Dan's getting the money, but I will do what you say. So let's go to Reasonable Vegan. We're going to go there right now as per your instructions. I'm just going to believe that you're going to follow my channel because I need the subscribers. Community tab. Here we go. Community tab. My top 50 favorite metalcore all aggressive live stream with Quad Rowan tomorrow. Only 3 subs to 400. So yeah, he's got 400. Oh yeah, he's almost there. Soy curls, polenta and soy curls and asparagus. Not bad. It makes me hungry. Looks good. Okay, what am I supposed to be looking at here? A lot of music stuff. Now I feel like I'm stalking him. I've never really looked at this stuff. Now I'm starting to feel like I'm being a bit more mean-spirited now. But you told me to look at, here we go. There's 63. Okay, what's an unpopular vegan opinion you hold? Being okay with sitting alongside friends and family having dinner who aren't vegan, making a stand and distancing yourself away from the table can actually do more harm in their perception of veganism than it is doing good. We all know it's much harder to convert carnists who are closer to you, demonstrating how easy it is to eat vegan with vegan dishes, for example, is a better way. Oh, it's all a bunch of people telling us what's wrong with vegans. Is that what it is? Notorious Tom Payton? Yeah, the unpopular opinions post. I'm there. They said community, not community tab. No, he means community tab.
Yeah, it means the community tab.
Yeah. Amongst decent amount of your audience that a vegan should sacrifice themselves if it meant everyone in the world going vegan for eternity. I hadn't thought it was such an unpopular opinion, but clearly I'm wrong.
Why vegans maybe should be welfare focused.
Yeah. Why they should be welfare focus. Most organic produce, including veganic farms, of course, probably should not be considered vegan. Oh, Jesus. I'm not completely against animal testing in labs. Zoos are ethical, says Jerome Eubanks. Okay, well, I mean, this is the type of people, as far as I'm concerned, these aren't vegans, right? I mean, these are people who are something else. It's wearing all my old animal products until they wear out. I have 8-year-old leather boots and are still going strong, and 1 pair of sandals. I don't think everyone has a problem with that. I accept the premise that veganism is not factual but moral, and veganism may be wrong. I eat oysters. Said that and got tons of social media ridicule. Yeah, that makes sense. And then most non-vegans will think you're just a fake vegan who eats animal products when nobody's looking. Yeah, that's right. Oh, wow, this guy's really put it out. There's no scientific proof that the diets are more or less healthy. Whatever. It's not a health movement. Okay, well, all right. It looks like, what am I even doing here? I'm not really interested in hammering his people, to be honest. People who love him can love him if they want. It's not, but just that's not what vegan is.
Don't. Unsubscribe for me if you like.
Unsubscribe. Jean is over on your channel. Traitor, Jean. Traitor. All the carny trolls follow him, and he engages in conversation with them as if they were reasonable. Yeah, because he's a carny. He wants to be appreciated and loved by the carnies. That's what a pick me vegan is.
Hello, Jean.
Ingratiate yourself. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, final thoughts. What do you think?
I think Mick Jagger is an incredible musician who made a deal with the devil to say, I'm going to live forever, be a rich rock star, sleep with beautiful women, and have the most successful rock band of all time. And he made that deal with the devil, and the devil said, okay, but you're going to always be really ugly.
Not vegan, though.
No, he made a deal with the devil. He didn't go vegan for health reasons. He didn't go plant-based vegan. But
has he gone plant-based?
Mick Jagger, I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know, but he's a
him then, can you?
He's a fantastic musician. I'm not going to be his friend.
You can't listen to his music
because it's not vegan.
Right. Yeah. You have to burn all his albums now.
Well, I'm also not allowed to go to movies or yeah. Haven't you heard?
Can't get in any taxis with leather seats.
I can't plane. You say taxis, but I heard taxes. I also can't pay taxes because my taxes go to subsidies for animal farmers.
I can't contribute to cancer charities because they advocate for eating meat.
That's true. They also advocate. They also test on animals, so you cannot. You cannot give money to cancer research. Yeah, isn't it? It's so hard being vegan.
Yeah. So anyway. He's sending out the wrong message.
Yeah.
Sending out the wrong message, and it's not a good message, and it's not doing us any good whatsoever. And he's catering to people who don't really care and are not really vegan for the right reasons.
40-year-old vegan asked if we're going to do a song together. No, because Dan can't sing. But I'll be doing a song later on at my 5 p.m. show, which is probably too late for y'all. But I will be doing a song of the Rolling Stones later, just for fun.
I can't get no
With my blue guitar.
satisfaction. No, no, no.
You can't get no girly action.
Have you know? Have you been spying on me?
Well, you've been married for a while.
Not to mention the M word.
Ooh, Bossa and Stones is so good. Yes, that's a wonderful album. Good point, Turning Veganese. That was great. Bossa and Stones is great. I think I want to play Wild Horses. I want to learn that song. Wild horses.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I like that one as well.
Couldn't drag me away. I also like that it's Wild Horses. But you know what also would be good? Beast of Burden would be a good song for a vegan to learn. I'm trying to think of the songs that the Stones had that had vegan kind of. They're not really vegan messages. They're all the same thing, but I like it. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. I hope that you will stay vegan. Don't let the bastards grind you down. Dan, any final words?
Yes, please, people, go and watch some of Carson's stuff. Like I said, you're not supporting him. I want you to go. I want you to listen to him. I want you to listen to what he's got to say, and then I want you to bang it in my comments or Sky's comments about what you thought about what you watched. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it, just so I know I'm not just being an awful bastard.
And Dan, let's be a little selfish for a second. You have 15 people watching on your channel. I have 15 people watching on my channel. If all you guys would follow each other's channel, that would be amazing. Follow both of us.
Yeah, please swap over if you want to hear like rambling American drawl, right? You want to hear people murdering, right? This is why Sky's not vegan, because he murders the English language, right? Just go over to Sky. No, go over to Sky. I love Sky. He's a great guy. He does some great stuff. Yeah, he does some top impressions of people. Yeah, go over and subscribe. Too. And people who are watching me now who are not subscribed to me, please subscribe to me. I'm not as active as I used to be, but it is up and coming. I do quality rather than quantity. So when stuff comes up, it really is sort of good stuff. And I'm going to be up to stuff.
I'm a quantity guy. You're a quality.
Listen,
guy.
You've got the gift. I haven't got the gift of the gab like you have. You know, I'm a man of few words until something riles me up. But when it riles me up, all guns blazing. So that's what you're looking out for on my channel. So yeah, save the animals, save the planet, save yourself, people.
Indeed, absolutely. I'm about to go watch some Reasonable Vegan right now. I can form my own opinion. Wish me luck. Vegan Stallion, I'm looking forward. On my Patreon, Vegan Stallion, I'd love for you to tell me what you think. It'd be a great way to tell me what you think about that. I'd love to hear it. Yeah.
I'd love to hear that as well. You'll be like that. You'll be like that with a razor blade within 2 hours of watching. I'm telling you now.
Bring back Grump Day. Well, Grumpy and I were talking about trying to do it once a month, so that's the idea. We missed last month. I forget why, but
yeah, because you were just wrapped up in your own little selfish world.
Was I?
That's what. Yeah. I was waiting for the invite, but I thought, well,
oh no, it was because it was that week where my schedule was all fucked up. I was trying to figure out how to all make it happen. So yeah, great. I hope you guys all have. What is 80 Slim Shadys? What is this stream doing? Well, like it and find out. Go ahead and like this stream, everybody. Don't forget to like and subscribe. All right. Thank you, everybody. Peace out.
It's so hard to not abuse animals.
Carnies can't fuck themselves. Don't fuck themselves.
This is a shout for vegans.
I just want to mention that Entice is going to be on my channel later on today at 5:00 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So if you're in the UK and you're a night owl, please tune in. Entice is amazing. She's such a cool guest. I'm really stoked. It took a long time for me to get her on my channel. 5 p.m. today on Vegan, of course. Please check it out. Until then, illegitime, non-carborundum. Don't let the bastards grind you down. Thank you, vegans. Keep going.